Talk about getting schooled. The University of Illinois just rehiring a former member of a left-wing terror group to teach college kids again. His name is James Kilgore, and he is also a convicted murderer. Now, one Illinois businessman is threatening to halt millions of his donations to the school unless they change course. Steve, this is unreal.
It is unreal and also shows hypocrisy. Can you imagine a Ku Klux Klaner who had murdered an innocent person being hired by the University of Illinois? No way. But left-wing terrorist murder, that's okay. So the businessman is right, and the University of Illinois has to understand that if they want to do this kind of nonsense where academic integrity goes out the window, politics is in, there are consequences for it.
Rick, it's amazing that you'd even have to consider withholding your contribution if they decide not to hire a convicted murderer, which they've decided to do, by the way.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Look, I mean, the businessman should do whatever he wants, and I don't think that should have an impact on what the school does. I'd like to be able to say that the school should pursue whatever course they think is right, but Steve makes a point that I just don't know how to argue with. We would react differently. The school would not hire that person that Steve suggested, that Ku Klux Klan person who murdered somebody. Can't argue the point, therefore it's fair to put this on the table.
And EMAC, there are also public funds, by the way. This is a public university, so there are taxpayer funds going for this as well.
Yeah, and that, and also, do parents really want their tuition costs going to guys like these? You know, today you can't even say the word Reagan on college campuses, right, and you look like a lunatic. And the irony here is the SLA was so totalitarian in their thinking, and the colleges across the country are so monolithic in their thinking that they don't even allow the talk of, you know, free market economic policies on college campuses.
Yeah, and Mike, by the way, for those who don't remember, you might remember Symbionese Liberation Army, the SLA, as Liz said, is the same group that kidnapped Patty Hearst. These were really evil people.
Look, personally, I agree with what the businessman is doing, but I think EMAC touched on the main point here. If people object to this, then don't go to the school. That's the best way to cast your vote.
But Sabrina, it's not, by the way, that was what we were looking at was video of Patty Hearst when she was, she says, forced to help in a bank robbery. But it's not just this one case, Sabrina. There are cases all over America. Bill Ayers, of course, and his wife, Bernadine Dorn, Kathy Bodine at NYU and Columbia. I mean, the list goes on and on of radicals that universities have hired. And not just any radical. I mean, you can have radical beliefs. These are convicted murderers in many cases.
Right, of course. And look, we want a diversity of opinion on college campuses. I don't want to get rid of all liberals the same way I don't want to get rid of all conservatives. The problem is that so many of these universities are so steeped in their liberal ideology that they don't even see a problem with this. But as Steve said, I mean, if we had somebody who had held up a Planned Parenthood, they certainly would not be teaching at one of these universities. And I think very often these stories are just not covered. Parents simply don't know all of what's going on. It absolutely should be called out. And just because he did his time, so to speak, doesn't mean he should get whatever he wants when he gets out. He can have a job, just doesn't mean he should be teaching students.
I agree. All right, gang, thank you very much. By the way, something else making college students and their parents' eyes pop, the skyrocketing cost of tuition. Well, get ready to put those eyes back in your sockets with our Informer stocks to help pay for your children's college degrees.